Have you ever felt an invisible shift within you, like a quiet force stirring beneath the surface of your everyday life? It doesn't announce itself with fireworks. It creeps in silently, in the spaces between thoughts, in the sudden realizations that shatter old beliefs. This is not coincidence. It is the whisper of awakening. Across centuries, mystics, sages, and seekers have spoken of a transformation that changes everything, yet remains hidden from the untrained eye. The ancient Egyptians carved it in hieroglyphs. The Vedic seers hinted at it in their hymns. Even the desert fathers and mystics of medieval Europe veiled it in allegories. They all pointed toward the same truth. A true spiritual awakening is not loud, not obvious, and certainly not what popular culture makes it out to be. Today, the phrase spiritual awakening is thrown around so casually that its depth has almost been lost. It's marketed as instant bliss, a quick escape, or a trend to follow. But in truth, awakening is far more subtle and far more demanding. It asks you to dissolve illusions you didn't even know you carried. It strips you bare, only to reveal the eternal flame beneath. In this video, we are going to uncover 7 hidden signs of a true spiritual awakening. Signs that often go unnoticed, yet carry the unmistakable fingerprints of the divine. These are not the cliches you've already heard. They are the markers passed down through esoteric traditions, recognized only by those who dare to look deeper. By the end of this journey, you may realize that you yourself are walking the path, that the signs of awakening have already been knocking at the door of your soul. So, stay with me. Listen closely, because what we are about to reveal could change how you see your own inner life forever. Before we dive into the 7 hidden signs, I want to ask you, have you ever felt a moment in life that seemed to awaken something inside you, even if you couldn't explain it? Share your experience in the comments. I'd love to read your stories. To truly grasp the essence of spiritual awakening, we must first step back into the mists of time, into eras when knowledge was not measured by books or degrees, but by the depth of one's inner vision. Across civilizations, there have always been those rare individuals who glimpsed the unseen threads of reality. The Egyptians, for instance, encoded the mysteries of life and death into the pyramids and sacred texts, not merely as monuments, but as guides for the soul. Each symbol, each alignment with the stars, was a lesson in recognizing a higher consciousness hidden beneath the veil of matter. Similarly, the Vedic seers of ancient India described awakening not as a singular event, but as a gradual unfolding, a lifting of the layers of ignorance, like peeling an onion until the radiant self emerges. They spoke in paradoxes. The self is both nothing and everything, the witness and the observed. These truths were never meant for the masses. They were dangerous if misunderstood, for they could unmoor someone from the fabric of ordinary reality before they were ready. Even in the deserts of Egypt and Judea, mystics and ascetics practiced silence, fasting, and contemplation to encounter the same reality. Their writings, often wrapped in allegory, warned that awakening is a journey inward, one that cannot be hurried, traded, or bought. They knew that a person might walk their entire life beside the signs of awakening and never recognize them, unless they were truly attentive. Why was this wisdom hidden, you might wonder? Because awakening is both liberating and unsettling. It shatters the illusions society depends on, the belief that happiness is external, that identity is fixed, that life is only what the senses reveal. For those who are unprepared, these truths could lead to confusion, despair, or misinterpretation. The ancients learned to cloak their teachings in metaphors, stories, and rituals, a cryptic map for those brave enough to decode it. Philosophically, awakening has always been about recognizing a deeper reality beyond the ego, the world, and even time itself. In Buddhist teachings, it is the release from suffering through insight into impermanence and interconnectedness. In Taoism, it is aligning with the flow of the Tao, the invisible current underlying all life. In Western esotericism, from Hermeticism to Kabbalah, awakening is the realization that the universe is a mirror of the soul, and that by knowing oneself, one touches the divine. Yet, despite the vastness of this knowledge, the signs of awakening are subtle, often invisible to the untrained eye. They do not shout from mountaintops. They whisper in moments of stillness, in the heartbeats of life. And these whispers are what we will begin to recognize in the next section. The first of the 7 hidden signs, each a key to unlocking the mysteries the ancients guarded so fiercely. The path to awakening often begins quietly, almost imperceptibly. You may not even realize it at first, but those who have walked it through centuries and cultures describe subtle markers, hidden yet unmistakable once recognized. Let us explore the first 3 hidden signs, the initial whispers of transformation. 1. A deep sense of inner stillness. The first sign is a profound silence within, not the absence of sound, but the quieting of mental chaos. Imagine standing in a forest at dawn, when the world is neither moving nor rushing, and every breath feels like a universe unto itself. This stillness isn't achieved through force. It arises naturally, as though the mind finally remembers its true home. It's not meditation alone, it's a shift in perception. You begin to notice the small, ordinary miracles around you, the pattern of sunlight on a wall, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the gentle unfolding of a flower. 2. Heightened intuition and subtle awareness. The second sign is the awakening of the inner eye. Suddenly, your intuition becomes sharper, more precise, almost uncanny. You sense energies, moods, and intentions without words being spoken. Think of it as the veil between the ordinary world and the unseen, slowly thinning. The ancients called it gnosis, or sacred knowledge, not gained through books, but through experience. You may feel nudged toward decisions that seem irrational to others, yet deeply right to your inner self. Here, trusting your instinct becomes an art form, a sacred practice in itself. 3. A growing discomfort with illusion. The third sign is subtle but unsettling, a natural resistance to falsehoods. You notice dishonesty, pretension, and superficiality more acutely. Social norms and unexamined beliefs suddenly feel heavy, restrictive, or meaningless. It's not arrogance, it's clarity. You begin questioning everything you were told about life, identity, and success. This is the awakening mind, testing the old patterns, revealing the fragility of the narratives we've lived by. At this point, you may wonder, why do these signs appear gradually and often unnoticed? The truth is, awakening is not a sudden explosion for most. It is like the sun, rising slowly, first painting the sky in faint hues before its full brilliance is visible. The ancients knew this and structured their teachings to guide the seeker gently, without overwhelming them. In observing these signs, one begins to sense a strange paradox. The more you awaken, the less you feel separate from life, and yet the more you recognize its illusions. A profound tension arises between stillness and activity, clarity and uncertainty, freedom and responsibility. This tension is not a flaw. It is the first taste of the depth and richness of true awakening. As we move deeper into the path, Awakening reveals itself not only in subtle perception, but in profound shifts that touch every layer of your being. The next 4 signs are often overlooked because they do not make grand proclamations. They manifest quietly, in ways that challenge both the ego and the familiar rhythms of life. 4. A sense of sacred synchronicity. The 4th sign is the uncanny appearance of synchronicities, the feeling that the universe is communicating through signs, coincidences, and seemingly improbable events. It's as if life itself conspires to guide you. You might meet the right person at the perfect moment, encounter books or ideas that answer unspoken questions, or notice repeating patterns that hint at a hidden order. The ancients believed these moments were the language of the cosmos, a secret dialogue between the awakened soul and the infinite. Yet here's the paradox. You cannot force these signs. They arrive when your awareness aligns with the flow of life, demanding both patience and presence. 5. Emotional depth and empathetic resonance. True awakening often brings a profound sensitivity to the emotions of others and the subtle currents of the world. You feel joy and sorrow more intensely, sometimes without clear cause. This is not weakness. It is the dissolution of the barriers that separate self from other. Ancient mystics described this as the awakening of the heart chakra, or the recognition that every being is a reflection of the same eternal essence. With this sensitivity comes both beauty and challenge. The world can feel overwhelming, yet it also becomes breathtakingly intimate. 6. A compulsion toward authenticity. The 6th sign is a relentless drive toward authenticity. You can no longer tolerate living according to scripts written by others, society, family, or culture. This often manifests as drastic life changes, leaving careers, redefining relationships, or abandoning habits that no longer resonate. It is a courageous, often uncomfortable process, because the awakened soul refuses compromise on the level of personal truth. The mystics warned that this stage is one of testing. You are refining your life into a vessel capable of holding higher consciousness. 7. A paradoxical freedom and responsibility. The 7th and perhaps most profound sign is the paradoxical nature of awakening itself. You feel liberated from fear, attachment, and illusion. But this liberation carries immense responsibility. Freedom is not a license to escape. It is a call to live with heightened awareness, compassion, and integrity. The Kabbalists described it as walking the line between heaven and earth, balancing personal liberation with service to the world. The awakened soul carries both wings of the eagle and roots of the tree, soaring awareness, yet grounded presence. These last 4 signs reveal the depth of transformation. Awakening is not an abstract concept or a fleeting emotion. It is a reconfiguration of the soul's relationship with itself, others, and the universe. It is subtle, paradoxical, and often misunderstood, yet unmistakably real once it begins to manifest. Awakening may be subtle, but it is not passive. Once the signs begin to appear, there are concrete ways to cultivate and deepen your awareness, ways that allow the insights to move from fleeting moments into lasting transformation. Here are practical methods to recognize, honor, and expand each of the 7 hidden signs. 1. Cultivating inner stillness. Start by carving out moments of silence in your daily life. Even 5 minutes of conscious breathing can help quiet the mental chatter and strengthen your inner observer. You might try observing your surroundings with full attention, letting each sensation reveal itself without judgment. Over time, stillness will become a natural state, allowing you to detect the subtler signals of awakening. Journaling your experiences afterward can reveal patterns you might otherwise miss. 2. Honing intuition. Intuition is like a muscle. It grows stronger with practice. Start small. When faced with minor choices, pause and notice your gut feeling before acting. Reflect on outcomes to understand the subtle nudges of your inner guidance. Meditation practices, such as visualization or silent inquiry, can also sharpen your perception of energy and intention, training your mind to discern truth from illusion. 3. Recognizing illusions. Awakening challenges us to see beyond societal conditioning and ego-driven narratives. Regular self-inquiry, asking questions like, "Why do I believe this?" or "Is this truly mine?" can illuminate hidden patterns. Be patient with yourself. This is a gradual process. Over time, as you notice illusions falling away, life begins to feel lighter, freer, and more aligned with your authentic self. 4. Embracing synchronicity. To engage with synchronicity, cultivate openness. Pay attention to seemingly coincidental events and explore their meaning. Keep a synchronicity journal to record patterns and insights. As you practice noticing these subtle signs, you'll begin to recognize life as an active dialogue where guidance appears in the ordinary moments if you remain present. 5. Deepening emotional awareness. Awakened empathy can be both beautiful and challenging. Practices like mindful listening, compassionate reflection, and grounding exercises can help you navigate emotional depth without being overwhelmed. Engage with art, music, or nature as mirrors for your emotions. They can deepen understanding and provide safe channels for processing heightened sensitivity. 6. Living authentically. Take small, deliberate steps toward authenticity. Examine your routines, relationships, and commitments. Are they aligned with your truth? Begin saying no to what no longer serves you and yes to what nurtures your soul. Authentic living is a practice of courage. Each conscious choice strengthens the alignment between your outer life and inner awakening. 7. Balancing freedom and responsibility. Finally, remember that true freedom is inseparable from responsibility. Your awakening has an impact on those around you. Practice integrating insights into daily life, acts of kindness, mindful communication, and conscious decision-making. The more you ground your awakening in real-world action, the more sustainable and meaningful it becomes. Awakening is a journey, not a destination. By applying these practices, you can transform the hidden signs into tangible experiences, enriching both your inner world and your interaction with life. The path requires patience, dedication, and courage, but each step reveals a depth of consciousness that words alone cannot capture. As we reach the end of this journey, it becomes clear that a true spiritual awakening is not a singular event or a flashy revelation. It is a quiet unfolding, a deep and often hidden transformation that touches every layer of your being. From the stillness that opens your awareness, to the intuition that guides your steps, to the paradoxical freedom that demands responsibility, awakening is both subtle and profound, elusive yet undeniable. The 7 hidden signs we explored are not mere checklists. They are living threads of consciousness. They appear differently in each soul, sometimes in whispers, sometimes in storms. They may challenge you, unsettle you, or even frighten you. But they are the markers of a path that has been walked by mystics, sages, and seekers across time. An unbroken lineage of those who dared to look beyond the veil of ordinary life. Here's the paradox. Awakening is simultaneously personal and universal. The more you recognize these signs in yourself, the more connected you become to life, to others, and to the vast unseen currents that shape existence. And yet, it is also a solitary journey, the soul's intimate dialogue with truth. Perhaps as you reflect on these signs, you realize that awakening has already touched you. Maybe you've experienced moments of clarity, intuition, or synchronicity that hinted at a larger reality. Or perhaps these insights feel like seeds, waiting for the right conditions to sprout within your consciousness. The question that remains, one I leave for you to ponder, is this: if the signs of awakening are already present within you, how will you respond? Will you recognize them, nurture them, and allow your life to transform accordingly? If this exploration resonated with you, take a moment to pause and observe. Reflect on which signs have appeared in your life and which are calling you forward. And if you feel compelled, share your experiences in the comments below. Your story could illuminate the path for someone else, just as theirs might guide you. Awakening is not a destination, it is a living, breathing journey. And the first step, as always, is noticing.